Coming up on Vegas Nation Blitz, the Raiders picking up the dub against the Pats. Geno Smith shining in the win, putting up one of the week's top passing yard totals with 362 yards.
Somebody said, was this a breakout game from him? Yeah, it wasn't at all. That's how Geno plays. He'll have bigger games, and going forward.
But the win comes at a price. Brock Bowers and Landon Roberts each leaving the game with injuries. We'll get you the latest updates from head coach Pete Carroll, plus so much more. Vegas Nation Blitz for week number 2 starts right now.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Hello, welcome back in for Vegas Nation Blitz. Once again, I'm your host, Dominic Lavoie. There's plenty of things to talk about with the Raiders' 20-13 win over the Patriots on Sunday. So let's go ahead and get things started with Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore and his top stories.
I'm talking specifically about the offensive line. It was a little bit of a mixed bag. They protected well enough, but they got to do better in the run game. Pete Carroll talking about that, mentioning how a lot of that was communication and just some playing time together with what is a very young offensive line, especially on that right side. I think Geno Smith played a very good game on Sunday, and if he just kind of stays right there, I think they should be fine in the passing game. It's more the running game. Ashton, Jeanty, the offensive line, being a little bit more on the same page, developing that chemistry that you're not really able to do in training camp. It just takes time on task in actual football games. They were able to get some of that time on task on Sunday. They need to build off of that and just be better off on Monday against the Chargers. Also, the young secondary I thought held up pretty well, but Drake May is not Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is not Drake May. It's a much more formidable challenge against the Chargers, against Justin Herbert. And so the secondary needs to be better. The pressure on the quarterback needs to be better. So again, a lot of good on Sunday against the New England Patriots. It just needs to be better against the Chargers. And here's the thing. I think the Raiders are capable of being better. That's probably the most promising thing that came out of Sunday's win against the Patriots is that they didn't play their best game. They still won that game. There's room to grow. And they're going to have to make that growth between now and Monday night when they welcome the Chargers to Allegiant Stadium. Back to you, Dom.
Now with more storylines from the Raiders' Week 1 contest. First up, the debut of Ashton Jeanty.
You only get one time to make that first impression. So obviously, a lot of emotions, all that going around, but just kind of staying level-headed, calm through everything.
The 6th overall pick staying level-headed after taking the field for his first NFL regular season game. And he had himself an okay-ish day, all things considered. Jeanty rushing for 38 yards on 19 carries, averaging about 2 yards per handoff. Plus, he hit pay dirt and scored his first rushing touchdown of his NFL career. Now, with game number 1 out of the way, what did Pete Carroll think of his top draft pick's performance?
Ashton he was hyped. He was jacked up, and he would tell you, I would think, that he wished he would have been a little more patient on some reads and things like that will come. He didn't look like that in preseason. This game, being out there and being called on to play, carry the ball 19 times or whatever. It was a little bit different for him, and he'll play way better. He'll see things more clearly, and I know he's a little frustrated by that.
Now, as we mentioned, there were some injuries. First up, and Landon Roberts leaving the game with a sprained elbow, according to head coach Pete Carroll. And in Roberts' absence, a pair of Raiders ended up stepping up to the plate. Tommy Eichenberg stepped into the game and registered a pair of tackles, 1 solo tackle and 1 assisted tackle. And veteran Jamal Adams also joined the fray with 3 solo tackles himself. Carroll spoke on their effort Sunday.
I thought Tommy did a really good job of jumping out there, communicating, doing right, picking up, and not letting that be a factor. Jamal played a nice game too. He was active and moving around. But I really credit Tommy with coming off the bench, and it's hard to do that and play as actively as he did. So it was really, really good.
And the injury to Brock Bowers, a second-year tight end, had a great game in New England. He grabbed 5 passes for 103 yards on the day, with his longest being a 38-yard catch and run. But the Georgia alum went to the sideline after that catch. He spoke with the trainers and jogged up and down the sideline a little bit, but he was held out of the rest of the game at the trainer's discretion, according to Coach Carroll. The Raiders head coach offering an update to the injuries on Bowers and Roberts.
Those guys are tough guys now. They're not going to, take the easy way out on this one. They're all going to push to get right. I like that we have, these 3 days right now are really crucial. The day off today, tomorrow's workouts, and then what becomes like the Tuesday day off for us. They'll be really crucial for us.
Now we're going to step away real quick to catch a breather, but when we come back, One Thing with Heidi Fang returns to the show. Plus, we'll wrap things up with Pete Carroll's thoughts on getting better before the big spotlight on Monday Night Football. Stick around.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler. We specialize in natural and lab-grown loose diamonds, engagement rings, and custom design. If you're looking for lab-grown diamonds, we have one of the largest selections at the best prices in Las Vegas. We make luxury affordable every day.
Now, as promised, we're swinging things over to Heidi Fang for her One Thing.
Thanks, Dom. Devin White's 11 tackles and flawless takeover as the defensive play caller on the field following an injury to Landon Roberts is proof that the former Tampa Bay standout's resurgence is forthcoming. White played all 71 of the team's defensive snaps on Sunday, and his performance led head coach Pete Carroll to say he was a hammer on the field. White spent 6 seasons with Tampa Bay, where he won a Super Bowl with then quarterback Tom Brady, who's now a minority owner for the Silver and Black, and he was drafted out of LSU in 2019 when John Spytek was in the Bucs front office. Spytek signed the free agent linebacker to a 1-year contract in the offseason. This comes following seasons where his production had shown decline. He suffered the loss of his father and had a 2024 year where he bounced to the Eagles without playing a snap and then onto the Texans roster without much production. But can he build off of his Week 1 performance to return to form to being the man who had 3 seasons in Tampa Bay where he recorded 100+ tackles? The next test is ahead, and that's the one thing I'll be watching when Week 2 is underway.
And finally, before we get you out the door, Pete Carroll spoke about Week 1 as a whole and how the team can get better headed into the home opener against the Chargers.
We played really solid throughout the whole game. We were right in it, mentality-wise, competitively, the situations, communications. We were poised. And, for a first-time team coming out and taking their first shot and the starters are playing the whole game, you had to find out. And it was a really good first step. A really good first step for us. And there's so many areas to get better and improve on.
That'll do it for Week 2 of Vegas Nation Blitz. Thank you all for tuning in once again. Make sure to return on Sunday morning this time for Vegas Nation Game Day to gear up for the Chargers game on Monday Night Football. And for continued Raiders coverage, until then, make sure to visit VegasNation.com, Vegas Nation on social media, or the Vegas Nation First and 10 podcast on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts to hold you over until Sunday and until kickoff. But once again, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all on Sunday.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by DNR House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.